Let me first thank our gracious host, President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, for inviting us and hosting us as we are here, and also thank the organizers of the forum, the Food Systems Forum. It's a very important discussion, especially at this time and point, but we have to start from somewhere. Meaning, across the continent, we find there is largely subsistence agriculture, which we have to modernize and make it sustainable. And around that, there are other serious problems that affect us, like climate change. So in thinking about the transformation that has to be undertaken, we bear in mind these problems. There are problems of funding, there are problems of entrepreneurs connecting with all that. So some of the changes we have done in our country in this has been also on the basis of partnership we have had with different people, countries across the world, private sector, in order to attract this kind of investment. For example, we have a partnership with the IFC, which has helped Rwanda to create Rwanda Climate Agriculture, Smart Agriculture Initiative Plan, which works across the country and starts with even small farmers, but focused on smart agriculture that is going to be sustainable. But most importantly, we have also mobilized the country to be part of that by understanding that when we're talking about food systems and agriculture thereof and the investments, we're also talking about different problems we have to overcome by changing the mindset of our people. And some of these things have been said before, where one, we are not producing enough. Two, even the little that is produced is sent outside to be processed, and then what comes out of that is sent back to us at so many times more expensive rate. So the transformation, the reforms that have got to be carried out have to start with changing people's minds and practices, and really asking ourselves the questions. In Africa, what don't we have? What don't we know? But there must be something to show for all that. We must show that we know what to do, we have what to do, and there is that abundance that has been talked about of land, of manpower, of the know-how to do things. So the reforms have been built on that. We have also continued, gone ahead and created, it's called Rwanda Ireme Invest, again partnering with different groups from across the world. We created a fund that focuses on enabling people across the country who want to be part of this progress forward. And in fact, the first round of funds came around COP27, where $100 million was mobilized for this fund, and this fund is working across the country to help the farmers to make the changes they want to make with the support of government and external partners in the structures of the food systems activities we have created in our country. And again, I want to thank AGRA and others who have worked with it. I want to acknowledge the former Prime Minister Mariam Desalegn of Ethiopia, who has been very active in overseeing and running this and working with countries like our own, Rwanda, and others across the continent. You can see the results are beginning to be realized, but we need to do much more than we have already done. There has to be partnership across the board. Government is definitely at the center of that, and alongside that, we have to focus on young people who people have said constitute the largest portion of our population. Through education, through financing, through different partnerships, so that all these young minds with their innovation and ideas in terms of entrepreneurship can thrive. I'll give you an example. Again, through partnership, we have first with the one I said about IFC, the funding from that touches 170,000 farmers and covers 80,000 hectares. And that means the farmers, the small farmers, smallholder farmers have been reached, and the results speak for themselves. The second part I want to bring up through partnership is what Rwanda and the Howard Buffett Foundation has created in Rwanda. Rwanda Institute of Conservation Agriculture, RICA. And by the way, this institution, the institute, attracts young people from across the continent. It's not just Rwanda. Maybe Rwandans are about 60%, 40% of those young people in this institute come from across Africa. And by the time they graduate the first degree, they already come out with ideas of entrepreneurship, and the government, maybe also the governments of those young people from the rest of Africa other than Rwanda, are also helped in terms of linking them with the finance to do whatever they have developed as ideas and around this innovation that they have come up with. So there has to be, first of all, that connection between institutions, and then there have to be ideas. The skills developed in that institute, of course, becomes value added to now spinning off these available resources that we can put to good use. So I want to tell the young people here as we address them, the first thing they should know is that they are at the heart of many governments' activities, as I understand also in our own country. But there must be an obligation they feel also as young people. Young people, you must be feeling an obligation. There is no sitting back and waiting until there is a problem and you expect that somebody is going to come and help. But you must be out there actively engaged in doing your part, as then we bring the support of other institutions, including those of government, to partner with you in taking your ideas further than you have already developed. So it's an open field, but it has to come up with the people who are active in search of what to do. Young people must find a purpose that guides them. And along the way, these other efforts are there to partner with you, whether from within or from outside, but mainly the government is interested in making sure that the young people are these resourceful, energetic people who are going to keep growing the country forward.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you.
Let me say, a couple of speakers earlier talked about dignity being part of what is reflected in what we aspire to do. If we can feed ourselves, if we can do the right things to grow, to develop our countries, I think it very much centers on what we can do as Africans to dignify ourselves. And also this is linked with what is entailed in your question. How do we approach things so that everything doesn't remain at the talking level? Because we have conferences, we have forums, everywhere, we are saying the right things, we are doing, but in the end, what is it that we can measure that we should be able to show has come out of the different efforts people carry out in different places? I think this is where we are still falling short and must work harder to achieve. If we are talking about food systems and food security and so on and so forth, but we continue and having so much arable land and all other resources, water and even technology to serve us where there is lack of or scarcity of certain things. Why don't we do what we know we have to do, or what we have so much said about what we have to do, to make sure that we are able to get results we can measure and know that we have come from here and this is where we are, and it is a reflection of the efforts that people have put into it, based on the need, based on the knowledge, and based on the kinds of partnerships that we talk about every day. If there are resources lacking, we have also seen that through partnerships, some of the resources can be obtained. So we really have to start walking the talk and just move from talking to doing, and then being able to see the results and measure them. And this is a responsibility for all of us. It's first of all primarily governments, of course. That's why governments are there. But it is also every one of us, now including the young people, who rightly make so many demands, but you must make effort to contribute and match the level of demands you are making as well.
Yes.
So I think if we work together, and we already know what to do, I have no doubt that people know what to do, because the needs we have inform us of what we can do to actually be able to meet the needs requirements. So my appeal to everyone is to take our responsibilities seriously and play our part. And then in the end, once you have done that, you are empowered to even hold others accountable. But you can't hold people accountable when you are not playing your part. So I'm happy that we are here in the company of the young people, and most especially women. Women, by the way, for example, in my country, constitute the biggest percentage of our population. So women are 52%, 51%, men are 49%. So women are very important. Even beyond just that aspect. And then when it comes to young people, we have 75% of our population being 35 and below. 75%. So if you have these 75% who are not really also playing their part and just making demands, there is a problem.
Yes.
In the end, leaders may be crucified for the sins they have not committed. So can we have people take their responsibilities? Can we have a very strong partnership?
Yes.
And then holding each other accountable in the process to do the very things everyone has said here or understands that we need to do to raise ourselves from where we are. I'm talking about Rwanda, I'm talking about the continent of Africa, and stop being, I don't want to exaggerate, but stop being beggars and depending on others. We can't keep depending on the rest of the world. When we have everything, when our people know what to do, when there is really nothing lacking. And this covers the very topic we are discussing.
Wow.
I rest my case.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, His Excellency Paul Kagame, and thank you for reminding us that we need to move from talking to doing, and it's an honor to be able to have such presidents with true leadership who are here to listen to the youth, but also to stand beside them. So thank you so very much. Before we wrap up, my co-host Larry, I think, has one last question for you, President Kagame. Larry.
Thank you. I think you already covered some of that in your final remarks, but you are sitting alongside the youth here and many in the room, many of whom are in the Youth Dome, by the way, so I hope you go and visit the Youth Dome over this week and see the work they're doing, they're exhibiting there. But what's the word for both excellencies? What is your message for African youth? What do you want to leave them with?
Message.
Let me start with a short story. About 10 years ago or more, whenever I would have an opportunity addressing our young people in Rwanda, I used to tell them, and people thought it was a joke, but in the end it turned out to be a reality. I used to tell our people that I see young people, whenever there are problems in the country, they want to run away and go abroad. They go to Europe, they go to Canada, they go to America, wherever. And I used to say, first of all, there will always be problems in any country, and there are more problems probably in our continent than others. But I used to tell them, instead of running away and going abroad and leaving your country, let's work together and find a way to resolve our problems, because there are problems everywhere. But at the same time, I used to tell them, I said, in fact, I can predict that in a short time, there will be, where you are going, they will be chasing you back to where you came from. That's about nearly 15 years ago. Now, I think I have been vindicated. So I'm saying this to remind us that there are problems everywhere. In Africa, in Rwanda, there are problems. There's no question about it. We need to address those problems. But we would rather concentrate on dealing with our problems than running away from them. So the young people, my simple message to you is, let's not run away from problems. Because even where you run to, you will find problems. There may be more problems. And especially when they send you back where you came from. So, but alongside that, young people find a purpose, know there are going to be problems, try and fail, but don't fail to try. I thank you.
Wow. Thank you.
You know, President Kagame said, you predicted 15 years ago that they would be chasing them back, sending them where they came from. Is that why you're accepting them? You're accepting the migrants the UK does not want, the migrants the US does not want?
Yeah, in fact, in accepting them, by the way, we started also some time back, maybe it was 2018 or 2017. We started accepting people from Libya. We still run that program to this day from 2018.
Right.
People from all different parts of the continent, especially, are brought. We are now working with the IMO and the UNHCR. They bring them to Rwanda, process them, and those who want to go back home, they go back home. Those who have where else to go that is acceptable to the countries that take them, they go. And by the way, some of them, those who don't want to go back, those who don't have anywhere to go, we settle them in our country, meaning we accept them.
Right.
So it has been a kind of principle we have applied also from the lessons we have learned as a country. We have learned many lessons. And for me, the person you see here in front of you, I was a refugee for 24 years, living in a refugee camp. So I understand the pain of, if we can, contribute even a small thing towards people who are being running all over the place and have nowhere to go, within our limited means, we still try to do something.
All right.
Nous avons vu des chefs d'État qui sont des vrais hifoshi, qui sont à l'écoute, qui sont engagés, prêts à co-construire avec une génération qui ne demande qu'à agir. À son Excellence, Monsieur Bassirou Diomaye Diakhar Faye, à son Excellence, Monsieur Paul Kagame, merci pour votre présence. Pour la cause, Président Kagame, merci beaucoup d'avoir été là. Adja, Simi, Fatiha, Claudia retrouve le message du président et répond. Maraz, merci beaucoup. Thank you, President Kagame, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, and that concludes this opening plenary at the Youth Town Hall. Thank you for participating. Have a great week at the Africa Food Systems Forum 2025.